You've probably heard of Palantir, right? It's this super powerful, almost legendary piece of software that massive companies and even governments use to sort through insane amounts of data. But what if the big idea behind it wasn't really about being big at all? What if it was just about being smart? Let's dig into that, because it's an idea that could completely change how you run your business.
Yeah, this quote right here, it gets right to the heart of it. So for a second, just forget about the billion-dollar price tags and the crazy complex algorithms. This isn't about how big your business is, it's about the quality of the thinking behind your decisions. So what we're going to do is strip away all that confusing corporate jargon and complexity to find one simple, powerful way of thinking that literally any business, yeah, including yours, can use to start making better, faster, and way more confident decisions. Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we bridge the gap between some giant corporation and a small business? Well, let's take the single biggest idea from their world and see how it fits perfectly into your day-to-day operations.
The big, fancy idea behind tools like Palantir is something called a single source of truth. I know, it sounds super technical, but trust me, it's actually dead simple. Just imagine all your business info, every single sale, every customer review, every little expense, all living together in one neat, organized place. What happens then? It means you and your whole team are looking at the exact same, complete picture. No more guessing games.
And let's be super clear here. This is not about buying some expensive software. Not at all. It's a shift in your mindset. It's about building a new habit, a new discipline, of actually connecting your real-world data to the real-world decisions you have to make every day.
All right, I can already hear you thinking, but I don't have big data. And you know what? You've got more than you think. In fact, most small businesses are sitting on an absolute gold mine of information and don't even realize it.
Think about it like this. Every single day, your business is telling a story. It's a story about what your customers love, what's really working, and yeah, what isn't. But the problem is, most of the time, that story is almost impossible to read.
And that's because all the pieces of the story are scattered all over the place. Your sales data is over here in your payment system. Your customer reviews are on Google or Yelp. Maybe your inventory is on a clipboard somewhere. And the employee schedule? That might be in a group chat or just in your head. It's like trying to read a book when every chapter is in a different library. It's just not going to happen.
So, when all our info is a fragmented mess like that, what's left? We fall back on our gut feeling, on intuition. And hey, don't get me wrong, your intuition is incredibly valuable. You earned it through years of hard work. But let's be honest, even the best intuition has blind spots.
But what if you could change that? What happens when you finally start bringing all those scattered pieces of the story together in one place? Well, that's where everything changes. You finally start to connect the dots.
And this just creates a huge shift in how you operate. You go from the before picture, where you're relying purely on intuition, always reacting to problems after they've happened, and totally missing important connections, to the after. Now, your intuition is backed by actual facts. You stop reacting late and start anticipating early, all because, for the first time, you can actually see the patterns.
Let me give you a real-world example. A retail shop owner might feel like rainy days are slow, but by simply connecting their sales data with local weather data, they know that while fewer people walk in, their online orders actually spike. Boom! Now they can run a little online ad every time it rains, turning a slow day into a surprisingly profitable one. Or how about a cafe owner who just can't figure out why some weeks are great and others are a bust? But when they overlay the local school's calendar with their sales numbers, the pattern becomes crystal clear. Sales tank during exam week, then they explode right after. Now they can plan their staffing and inventory perfectly. No more wasted food, no more missed sales. That is the power of connecting the dots.
Okay, I get it. This all sounds great in theory, but you're probably thinking, how on earth do I do this? I don't have a team of data scientists. Well, you don't need one. Let's walk through a super simple plan you can literally start today.
Seriously, it's this straightforward. There are just 4 steps to get you started on this new way of thinking. First, just gather your most important data. We're talking the basics, like sales and expenses. Second, unify it. And this doesn't have to be fancy. A simple spreadsheet is perfect. Just get it all in one place. Third, and this is the secret sauce, add context. Things like the weather, local events, school holidays. And finally, once it's all together, you can start asking really good questions.
And this completely changes the game. You stop asking vague questions based on a hunch, and you start getting real answers. You can see exactly why that one product flies off the shelves every Tuesday, or why you always seem to be short-staffed during the first week of the month. Answering these questions isn't just interesting, it saves you money and uncovers hidden opportunities.
So let's bring it all home. What does all of this really mean for you, the person running the show? Well, it's so important to understand this isn't about replacing your experience, it's about giving it a superpower.
Yeah, the goal here is not to let some computer run your business. The goal is to use data, even simple AI tools, to sharpen your own judgment. These tools can confirm a gut feeling you've had for years, or maybe challenge a belief that's actually been holding you back. It makes your hard-earned intuition even more powerful.
And when you boil it all down, this is what it's all about. The real gap between the corporate giants and the small business on the corner, it isn't brain power. It's not ambition. It is simply organization. The moment you start organizing your information, you give yourself the same exact advantage of clarity that the biggest companies in the world depend on.
Because hidden inside your sales numbers, your customer feedback, and your daily operations, there is a story. A story that holds the keys to help you grow, adapt, and win. So the only question left to ask is, what story is your data waiting to tell you?